Welcome to glufm.com, slated as North America's best streaming source for Caribbean entertainment news. The team utilizes the advent of enhanced technology to explore the digital arena of broadcasting, which competitors viewed us as an immediate citadel in the industry. We create a mix of up-to-the-minute contents and top music for the month on a compelling site of groundbreaking information. We are consistently seeking content writers, DJs, and producers to partake in our ongoing projects to be the best. Are you looking to start your online business? Do not hesitate. Send your inquiry to glufmads@gmail.com for more information.
As I mentioned earlier, we have in the house author, singer, songwriter, director. Am I missing anything, Miss Adekale?
Mother.
Mother. Oh, the most important, of course. And what was that?
Grandmother.
And grandmother. You don't say. Well, yes, Miss Toyin Adekale, she is here with us, and she was on the show, I believe, in July, and has been doing amazing things, has done amazing things since then. So she's back to tell us all about those things. So, Miss Adekale, please reintroduce yourself to our platform.
So, hi everybody, everyone all over. I just heard you mention Nigeria. Hi Nigeria. That's the other half of me. I am Toyin Adekale, and I just want to thank you. I always have to salute a presenter that gets my name correct, because there's so many variations, so I have to salute you. Thank you. And it's a pleasure to be back.
All right, so the last time we focused more on music, and we can talk about that as well, but tonight we're dedicating tonight's episode on your book, The Crystal City. So before we get into the book, like in depth, let's talk about the process of writing the book, like initially.
Right. So the book started with the main character in the book is called Tally, and that's my daughter. That's her short name. And she was feeling a bit down. Now, my daughter's an adult, by the way. She's 28, soon to be 29. And when her and her brother were younger, my son that passed away, I used to read bedtime stories to them. I used to love it. So on this particular day that she was down, I started to read a story to her as she was going to sleep. And this was just a couple of years ago. And I recorded what I was saying to her. I put it down, but my son, was saying, Mum, you should do a children's book. You write a lot. And so I still left it alone. So during this pandemic, as I had some time to, when you don't know what to do something. So I really feel it was a divine order. Yeah. And I just picked up the pen again and decided to conclude the book with my grandchildren now being inspiration. And I wanted to do this book because the books I was reading to my children then didn't reflect us. They didn't have images of us. Mm-hmm. The fairy tales, they were all well and good. They didn't have strong messages necessarily. But more importantly is I want my grandchildren now to see themselves as potential heroes and sheroes in today's stories. So yeah, it was divine order.
Yeah, representation matters. I don't think people really understand how important it is to see yourself represented in that kind of way. All right, so can you recall the first book that you read that made you cry?
The first book that I read that made me cry. I really can't. Not that made me cry, no. I mean, there are books that have edified me, inspired me, but it hasn't evoked that kind of emotion yet.
Okay. All right. That's fair. All right. Let's talk about inspiration then, since you brought that up. Let's talk about with the exception of yours, what is the most inspirational book that you've ever read?
The Richest Man in Babylon and Think and Grow Rich. Those two were very empowering. And whilst I didn't read the book, is Les Brown's. Les Brown's been a real anchor for me in terms of my journey, and
he's
wanting
amazing.
to encourage others to be better as a result. but The Pursuit of Happiness. So I know that there was a book. We saw the movie.
Yeah.
I didn't. If anything provoked me, if I had read the book, it probably would have made me cry because the movie did.
Wow. Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And Ayana Van Sant, of course. She's another
Oh yeah.
great.
So is it safe to say that those individuals were some of your biggest inspiration?
Most definitely.
Okay.
And at the time of absorbing their literacy, I never really considered myself an author. I wasn't even trying to be an author. I became one by chance, but I realized I've always been a writer. So I tell stories really through my songs. Most of my songs are biographical. So it was a natural order. And when I was at school, I used to write a lot of stories, and the class were always intrigued by them. So that has been a driving force for what I'm doing now as well.
Wow, that's amazing. So as a writer, how many hours do you on average dedicate to writing per day?
Well, you know, I didn't task it out that way. It's as the pen flows, my energy goes. So as I start,
I love
I
that.
stop when I stop. So, and I start when I start. So I might be in the middle of something and something comes to me. So I'll run to my book and paper and write down something or get on my laptop. So with this book, it was the first time I'd written audio wise first. So I'd recorded what I'd said, and then I improvised as I started to put it now to paper and start to develop the characters. Because, you know, when you're telling the story, the pictures of the characters are in your head.
Yeah.
Direction, it's all in your head. So putting it to paper, that was a bit more challenging. You know, how do I get this message across and paint the pictures that I want to reflect as well.
That's good. That's amazing. All right. So for those of you who are not familiar, the book that we're about to get into is this one right here. It is called The Crystal City. For those of you who are watching visually, I know that, you know, some of you are just listening to audio, but visually, for those of you who are seeing us, this is the book, The Crystal City. And if you have not copped it yet, please go and do so. And I'm gonna make Miss Adekale tell us before we get into it how we can get a copy of the book.
Most definitely. So the book is available on Barnes and Noble's online bookstore. Mm-hmm. It's available on Amazon. It's on Google Books, and basically any of the Audible, any of the good download sites for literacy. Kindle, you can get it on Kindle as well. It comes in paperback, hardback, and the ebook. Mm-hmm. And I'm currently working on the audiobook, which is exciting.
Nice. I was just about to ask you if they're able to get it that way, but yeah. So you're working on the Audible.
That's right. I've already done the first chapter because I didn't want to be a one voice. I do voiceovers as well, so I didn't want to be the one voice throughout the book. I wanted the characters to start to be defined. So I got my niece Nala, my nephew Issa. And they've done some of the voiceovers. My daughter has done some as well. So just to bring the book more to life. And it's really exciting. I've finished chapter 1, halfway through chapter 2.
That's good. And I'm happy that you're getting your family involved. I mean, the book is basically about your family. So it's very good that, you know, they're involved in the voicing process and stuff like that. All right. So I read this book and it is 1, a breath of fresh air. 2, so inspiring and motivational. And the story, what I love is that the story is so simple yet so powerful. Basically, it's about not giving up. That's really all there is to it. But Tali, mm-hmm. who is also your daughter, what was her reaction?
Well, she was the very first, the absolute first to hear it, because as I mentioned, she was going through some challenges. We'd lost my son, her brother, so she was very depressed, and I was talking to her over the phone actually, and she was sleeping, so I just read to her. But she's very excited for me. She's always wanted me actually to take this route. She's like, Mum, you need to be writing more books. I mean, I can't even say too much, but there's another couple that are on the way as well. But she's really excited for me for this journey because it's what she'd always envisioned for me. So,
and we're excited for you. Like I said, incredible book. So I don't want to be the one to have you spill the beans, but what about maybe a movie? You guys didn't see that. For those of you who are just listening to audio, you guys did not see that. But something you can't talk about yet?
Well, yes. So I'm already in negotiations at the moment. I've come to discover that it's a lot of money. And I've been advised, so I'm hoping that when I do get this together, that you can help me to commission some support. But I have to do a Kickstarter to get it off the road. I've had tremendous response. There are a lot of people that really do believe in what I'm doing. So there are there are 3 tiers happening right now. So the animation, so the illustrator, I had it illustrated in Jamaica. And an artist out there called Opio Ya Asante. And just sharing with him what I wanted visually. Now, he's an illustrator, he's not an animator, which is a difference for moving images. But now I've started reaching out to animators from Africa and the Caribbean. And you'll be surprised how many they are out there. And they need this platform as much as we do as people of color.
Yes.
So our things, I have an opportunity right now to present this to Hollywood. So it's like, I'm saying too much already. So all I'd say is watch this space. When I send out the link for the Kickstarter, please help me to support, because it's going to take funds that I don't have right now. But with the community support, it is absolutely going to be on the big screen. Won't stop till it gets there.
I am so excited for you and for that opportunity. So you mentioned your mother and your grandmother in the book. Tell us what type of influence did they have on you? Not just about the book, but just in life.
Yeah. So my mother, I mean, she's definitely a character in Tally. And it was my godmother as well. My mother passed on the 2nd of April this year from corona. And my godmother passed the following day. And to say that it was a blow and a half, because I still haven't quite come to terms with the loss of my son. So my head was in turmoil. But my mum was aware of the book because I'd already started the book. So she was always giving me the finger wave of, don't start and don't finish this, make sure this happens, make sure you keep doing this, no matter what's going on, because I came back to England to spend more time with my mother. And Mummy was very typical, old school generation African woman, firm but fair, supportive but liberal as well. She'd let me do what I wanted to do, but she'd always make sure that she'd have the last say, and then it was up to me what I was going to do. My godmother, she was my spiritual mother. So, sometimes you don't want to bombard your own mother with things that will hurt her, things that I'm going through. But my godmother was another woman of strength and prayer. So when I just felt like giving up, she would pray me right back up again. I truly believe that when Mum was leaving, that the final week before they both passed, it was very strange that they were asking about each other, like constantly. In fact, the 2 weeks leading up to. And my theory, and I'm holding it for my comfort, is that my mum just said, when she was leaving, I think she passed by and picked up my godmother and said, come on, Mum, let's go. Let's leave her not down here to it. Our work here is done. So, but they're a great inspiration. Days that I don't feel like doing anything, I can hear both of them saying, when you don't know what to do something. And hence, I put that energy, into the book, and hope that they've gone and found my son and told him that, he should have you know, stayed with me longer, but all of them should have stayed longer. But it's also reminded me that if we're still here, we have a purpose to fulfill. And because they've impacted my life, I realize my purpose now is to impact somebody else's life before I leave here. You know, what are people going to say about us when we're gone? What are we going to do? It's all well and good here. We've got pandemic, we've got politics, we've got lack, we've got serious challenges, we've got bereavement. So many of us that are going through that. But we're still here, so we can't just exist or stop or stay in the cloud. We've got to keep it moving. You know, it only takes one person to make a difference. Just one. And we don't have to think about the masses and the media. But, you know, Obama was one person. I keep saying this.
Yeah.
Trump is one person. Mother Teresa is one person. Adolf Hitler, Bob Marley, one person. But what one person can do, you know, for better or for worse. So let's all find our purpose from this pain and leave something behind.
Wow. Well, first, before I move any further, I would like to express my condolences to you for the passing of your son, your mom, and your grandmom.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, if you could give any advice to your 23-year-old self, looking back now, what would you tell her?
Don't be a know-it-all. But you know something, some of that 23-year-old self is revisiting. I wish I'd listened to my mother a bit more about planning for these times, you know. That I would have liked I could tell my 23-year-old self. Embracing yourself, and it's not what people call you, but what you answer to. Because, you know, I had let people's opinions of me affect me a lot more than I should have done. And so I had to unlearn a lot of their views and opinions. As a woman, to my 23-year-old self, and to all females, I would say, really know yourself and embrace yourself and know where your power is. Because today, the perception is that your power is in your sexuality. And it's so not. Because your sexuality can't affect a blind man. So find your power that can impact even one who cannot see you. Let them feel you. That's what I would tell my 23-year-old self. I used to think that there was a lot more power in my sexuality. I was hurt by men a lot from a very, very early age. So I thought I was put on this earth to punish men. And I thought I could walk a certain way, talk a certain way, and be rebellious, and that my sexuality was my power. And I soon realized that that was actually my vulnerability. And so when you see women, young girls acting out today, if you dig deep, there's probably, instead of judging them and condemning them, it's spring some love on them, because they're probably acting out of pain and trying to assert themselves and be very visible and present. But that's what I would tell my 23-year-old self. And I would still have that conversation with my daughter today. I mean, she's hurting, she's going through her journey. So she's juggling just like we were at that age.
Yeah. Wow. Well, Tally, shout out to you. We love you. And we wish you all the best, Tally.
Her full artist name is Tally Woe.
Tally Woe.
She's actually just released her first independent single yesterday, called Do What You Want. So you can find her on YouTube. She's doing quite well for herself as well. Tally Woe.
Okay, so to my listeners, when you're finished listening to Night Groove, please go on YouTube and look up Tally Woe and her single. Miss Adekale, can you please say that one more time?
Do What You Want.
Do What You Want. Tally Woe, Do What You Want. Okay, so you know what I love about the book? anyone can read the book and become inspired. Even though it's listed as a children's book, anyone can read the book and become inspired. And the lead in the story is obviously a female, but to our young boys, young men, you read it too, you become inspired. And Tali, when she first started out on this journey, because she had a dream, of a beautiful city where she would somehow become the queen. And, she went to her friends. And that's why it's important to be careful of who you share your dreams with.
Absolutely.
Because the people that are far away from you, they don't have any power to discourage you. It's the ones that are closest, And so, Tali started out, she shared this dream. She was excited. She shared it with her friends. And everybody was excited in the beginning, as is with life and with our dreams in reality. Everybody gets excited for you in the beginning. It sounds great. And then you start to hit some rough patches. And then one person falls off. And then another one falls off. And before you know it, you're standing by yourself. That is the moment that you need to say, you know what? One, I come this far to turn back. Not happening.
Yes.
And two, you have to understand that this is your dream. It's yours. Right. Whatever it is, this is your dream. And so I love the fact that, in the book, Tali, even when all of her friends decided, you know what, they don't want to do this anymore, she still decided to press on. And ultimately, her dream came true. I mean, it is such an incredible story. And guys, I'm encouraging you, please. This is the book. Once again, it's called The Crystal City. Please go and get your copy. Wow.
Those characters, I want you to remember those characters that you saw in chapter 1 and chapter 2, because there is a part 2 coming.
All right. And we're excited.
Yes.
Thank you. So I know we're talking about the book, but let's talk about your music.
Okay.
Are you working on anything new right now as far as music goes?
It's funny you should say that, because coincidentally I was back in the studio yesterday. There's just still so much material. As someone said to me yesterday, there's still so much material on the current album that hasn't been exposed yet, because, we're in an era where, back in the day, if you bought an album, you might buy an album for just 1 or 2 tracks, but you have to buy the whole album. Today, you don't have to buy the whole album. You can just buy, the album's advertised, but you can download 1 or 2 tracks. You're not forced to. But one of the tracks on the album, called I Do You, is an inspirational song. So I'm seriously considering getting behind that. But there are a few projects that are on the table, recording-wise. I'm just trying to juggle my priorities, because right now I'm in a zone with the book writing, and it's taken a lot of time. So part of me is like, I can keep away from the studio for the minute and just focus on this project, because it's huge. What I'm trying to do with this book is huge.
Yeah.
I am talking about some collaborations. I can't even mention those names yet either, but come January, there will be some new material. But from the current album, I Do You, that's the one that I'm pushing as the next kind of new project, even though it's on the album, because a lot of people are not aware of that.
Okay. Well, we're looking forward to everything that you have in store. You're such an amazing woman, so talented, gifted, and we are looking forward to everything that you will be putting out in the future. I want to remind our listeners that we are streaming on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and to our affiliates, successradio.ca in Canada, the English Connection Media in UK, 4K International Radio, FullForceENT.com, EnergyRadio1.com, Fun City Radio, and SayiniSound.com are all carrying us right now. So thanks to all of our affiliates. Tally Woe is on YouTube. Do What You Want is the song. So guys, please go ahead and check it out. And Ms. Adekale, am I missing anything? Anything else that you're working on right now that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Just surviving, just pushing through.
Good. Good.
Everything.
All right, can you share with our listeners your social media, how they can get in touch with you?
Yes, so you can find me. I do have 2 profiles on Facebook. Hit both of them up. One is Toyin Adekale, one is Toyin Adekale, singer-songwriter. Toyin Adekale, I think, is full, but you can follow. But to interact with me, Toyin Adekale, singer-songwriter, author, and you can get me on Instagram, Toyin Adekale. I do have a Twitter account. I've got to be honest, I don't tweet. By the time I've got through Facebook and Instagram, I really don't have time for tweeting. But if there is an interaction, of course, I will respond. So.
Okay. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. That's it for my interview with Ms. Toyin Adekale, singer, songwriter, author, producer, director, mother, grandmother. She's doing it all. And like all of us, just trying to survive. Ms. Adekale, I want to thank you so much for coming on to the Night Groove Show. And we appreciate your talents. Thank you for sharing your gifts with the world. And we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. God bless you.
Bless you too, darling. Thank you so much.
Welcome to glufm.com, slated as North America's best streaming source for Caribbean entertainment news. The team utilizes the advent of enhanced technology to explore the digital arena of broadcasting, which competitors viewed us as an immediate citadel in the industry. We create a mix of up-to-the-minute contents and top music for the month on a compelling site of groundbreaking information. We are consistently seeking content writers, DJs, and producers to partake in our ongoing projects to be the best. Are you looking to start your online business? Do not hesitate. Send your inquiry to glufmads@gmail.com for more information.